Hi, welcome to the Coffee Chat Show here on Buzzing Pattaya, the show where we talk about things that are happening right here, right now, as well as general news, tips, information and advice. Today, I thought it's been horrific rain out there. It really has been so bad. We've needed canoes, we've needed boats, we've needed everything. So I thought, well, why don't I come down and speak to Neil here at Real Divers? Because maybe soon, if it carries on raining like it's going to, I might need to learn how to snorkel. How you doing, my man?
Hello, mate. How you doing, Trev?
I mean, talk about topping up your workspace out there.
I know, mate. It's been unbelievable.
Mate, in all the years I've lived here, it's pouring and like, did you see on the news the other day? There's a condominium in the city centre, and they're like 5 foot deep in the river.
Yes, mate. I've had mates of mine sending me through online there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable pictures of Pattaya, John Tiem.
Unbelievable.
And, yeah, I was actually going to do quick ones about low visibility dives out there, mate. If anyone wanted to sign up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Be wading around in all the muddy waters. Now, obviously, you're here. You're Real Divers,
yes,
and we're going to talk a lot more about the diving opportunities. And there's some fantastic things I want to share with you in part 2. We'll cover that in part 2. But before we get into that, tell me a bit about yourself. Where originally are you from, Neil?
Right, mate. I'm from sunny Essex.
An Essex? Oh, it's an Essex
He's an
lad.
Essex boy. An Essex boy.
Southend?
Not quite that far out, mate. I'm actually from a place called North Weald, Epping, Harlow.
Okay.
So it's just outside. And it's a really nice place to grow up in. The old man moved out from Walthamstow into the Essex area, and that's basically where we grew up.
Right, so did you spend a lot of time in Southend when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did, mate, yeah. I think everyone did, especially when I got myself a car, like everyone would be down there on a Friday night as you do, racing around.
Was it Mr. Drinks, Tots?
Yes, mate, yeah.
The Kersal Centre?
06, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Southend for 2 years.
Actually, it's a real fun place to go with your mates when you're younger lads on a Friday and seeing what's happening as young boys do down there,
yeah,
mate.
do you know what? We had a lad I was in the army, we had a lad in our platoon, in our section, and he was from South, and he kept going on and on and on about it. You got to go. And we were based up in Colchester, which is not too far away.
No, it's not, mate, no.
So one day we said to him, right, get yourself down there. If we don't have a great night, then that's it, you're going to get kicked out of the platoon, we're going to put him out. I ended up getting married.
What, to a Southend girl?
I met a girl called Lisa in Tots Disco.
Yeah.
Big, huge car park out the front.
That's it, mate.
And I met her and I married her. And it was a typical army wedding. I got married and then I left the army and then we just fell apart and that was it.
Oh, that's a shame there, mate.
So you're in Southend.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm guessing like when you were a young lad, you know, you didn't really expect you'd be living here.
I had no idea. I thought basically I'd meet a local girl, marry down, and then take it from there as the steps of life, or as you go through life.
Yeah.
There, mate.
So what went wrong?
She ran away, mate. Yeah, I came home and it was empty. Originally, my old man, he sold up his business and he came to live in Thailand.
Okay.
And what it was, this was before emails and stuff, so we'd get letters, couple of months, give us an updates, and he'd send through a few photos of the more interesting places for younger lads. And eventually we said to my brothers and myself, Pete, said, right, let's go out and see the old man. When we actually got here, my old man he was getting over hepatitis B.
Oh, wow.
And how he got that was, he actually was a diver and he did a rescue off Pattaya Beach.
Okay.
There was a young Thai girl drowned in. The old man went in there, pulled her out and gave her the old kiss of life and the CPR, and he was good, he brought her back.
Oh, wow.
But what he didn't realise, he'd have his Hep B jabs, but he still got Hep. And he was walking down the street one day and he saw a mate of his and he said, wow, look at us, my lovely suntan. And he said, pull your eyes down. So the old man dropped them down, they were yellow, straight into the Bangkok Pattaya. And when we came out here, mate, it was like, you know, you see those pictures of lads who've been in POWs, etc.
Yeah.
He looked like that, mate. So he couldn't really take us out in the town and show us around. He'd have one beer, but because of his liver and kidneys, that was it. So we got to know a lot of the local lads. They sort of like put us underneath the arm and took us around there. Yeah.
So when you were back in Southend, what were you doing?
I wasn't quite in Southend. When I was in there, I actually used to work in Bethnal Green. I was doing that.
Oh, okay.
They called it the dreaded word. I was an estate agent, mate. Yeah.
Well, I was waiting for you to say a market trader.
I used to work a bit on the part time on the markets, mate, down the petticoats. But I used to work in Paradise Road, Bethnal Green, and this is really before it got quite yuppie-fied. It was just on the verge.
Yeah.
And we were selling property in Bow, Bethnal Green, over in Shoreditch, and I absolutely loved it round there, mate. I could actually thought I was going to live there myself.
Oh, mate, that's some dollar there, isn't it?
It is nowadays, mate. I've got mates now. It's criminal the prices they're throwing at me. I'm thinking all that commission I've lost now.
So you came over here, obviously, like you're in the property, you're in the real estate. Then you came over here. I mean, obviously, aside from the situation with your dad,
Yeah.
I mean, how was it when you came over? When did you first come?
This would have been about 91, 92.
Oh man, that's
So
a long time
it was
ago.
like, yeah, mate, I'm a dinosaur.
You don't look
now.
that old.
Thank you very much, there, bro.
They'll pay me later.
Yeah, it's coming on there, mate. Got out here, mate, and it was just a shock. It was like looking at it, say, straight out of London and Essex.
Yeah.
Never been to Asia. Been to Europe and Spain and Greece, but when I got here, it was just mind-blowing, mate. I didn't know where I was.
And what was it like? I mean, you know, back in '91, I didn't come out here till after that.
It was a bit like the Wild West.
Yeah.
As close as you could get to it, or the Wild West of like Pattaya. There was very minimum go-go's. I mean, Walking Street, I remember, was a dirt road. There was no concrete. The only concrete road there was, or tarmac road, was Pattaya Beach Road.
Wow.
We was living down in Naglua with the old man at the time, and that was just dirt roads, mate. And all round here, there was virtually nothing. You'd put like your beers on your bike, come down here with your football. The beaches were just no one to be seen at all, mate.
Wow.
And there was quite a few bars there, but actually getting expat food was either you ate Thai food or you liked it or lumped it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really hard to just, there was no Mackies or anything like that at all then, mate. There was a few very small, like, Western guys who had come here, married a Thai lady, and they were doing sort of roast beefs, etc. So they were lifesavers.
So you're saying like Walking Street was a dirt track?
Yes, mate, yeah. Basically, there was a few go-go's. The only discotheque, which I really can remember, was the Marine Disco 1.
Yeah. Oh, okay, one,
And
sorry.
that then it had these seats going down. It was like a sunken floor, like a big cinema, really.
Yeah.
And used to go in there, and again, like, it was just, as a young guy in your early 20s, you're just blown away, mate. Literally.
Well, we won't go to literally.
All right, mate, yeah.
So, I mean, you're saying there was hardly any go-go's. I mean,
No,
was there
the
not a
first
lot
go-go we ever went to was an afternoon session. The old man, he felt all right that day, took us down to Tahitian Queen 1.
on Beach Road?
On Beach Road,
Yeah,
mate. So
yeah.
that's where we really got christened. And we was in there on an afternoon session, and we're sitting there, and there's no girls in there, there's nothing in there at all. My old man and a couple of his mates. And bruv goes, I've seen more entertainment in the bar down the South End or in Essex, mate. And then suddenly these curtains opened up, and yeah, you was in paradise.
And that was it?
Yeah.
Wow. So you come over here, 91.
It's about 91, 92 we got here, mate, yeah.
And that was a holiday to come and see your dad and
It was
stuff?
a 6 weeks holiday. One,
Yeah.
it was to make sure the old man was all right.
Yeah.
He was coping okay, which he ended up marrying her, his girlfriend at the time, Gift. We didn't have to do anything. She had it all under control,
Yeah.
mate. And
Brilliant.
then it was like his mates at the time, some good lads, they're all commercial divers. They were taking us around the town, and what we learnt then is that you listen to the old veterans. They know what they're doing, and they guide the new boys through it, and it keeps you out of a lot of bother.
So you came over here, you've had your time of your life, you've
Yep.
gone back,
Yyep.
you're telling your mates what you've experienced.
And none of them
did
believe you. They go, oh, he's Billy Liar, this
Yeah.
lad there, like he's
Yeah.
cracking them out here. It was just, when we got back, it changed us from that 6 weeks.
Really?
Talk about having a lump in your throat when you're getting on the old aeroplane to go back to sunny Heathrow. You're like, oh, here we go. And it gave us a mission in life. It made us, instead of going out clubbing it, pubbing it, we saved money.
Right.
And we worked your nuts off to save as much as you can. And then we came back for a holiday, brought a mate out as well. That was for 5 months.
Wow.
And we wanted to see what it would actually be like living in this part of the world, or to get an idea of it, a taste of it. And again, we did a bit more traveling then. We did like the islands, rather than just staying in Pattaya, we went down to Koh Chang, Koh Samed, totally enjoyed the islands. And then we'd actually seen in the space of like, say, a year or so, Pattaya had a few more clubs there.
Okay.
It was just on that verge of growing there, yeah.
So when you came over here that first time, did you fall in love?
Yeah, just about every Thai lady walking down the street, I was the dog like this, yeah.
So you worked your nuts off to get your nuts off?
Basically, yes, mate, yes, I could come out and get me nuts off in a nice place there, mate, yeah.
Fantastic. So you went back, you've saved up, you've come back out. I mean,
Yeah.
when psychologically did you decide, you know what, enough's enough,
Yeah,
I want to come
okay.
out here and actually think about living out here?
That was really, to be honest, after we got back after our 5-month holiday.
Yeah.
We changed even more then, like a lot of our mates were drifting away. We didn't really, no disrespect, want to go down that road.
Sure.
And my brother at the time, he just lost his job, or he knew he was going to lose his job, and there wasn't really much round for him at the time. So I said, well, look, I'll finance you. We'd spoken to the old man saying, what could we do for work out in Thailand? He said, well, you're not brain surgeons, boys, yeah? He said, but you could make dive instructors. That was very kind of him. So I said to me, brother Pete, look, this was in about 96. I'll finance you. You get out there, set up the cornerstone become a dive instructor, run it, see what it's like, and then I'll join you. That's when I came out in end of 97.
97?
97, 98, I came out to live in Thailand.
So you, at that stage in your life, you didn't really have an avid interest in diving then?
No, it was a way to live in the city.
Really? So you've gone, I mean, we'll talk a lot more about this in part 2, but so I just want to get this in my head. So you came over here with literally like little, if any, interest in diving, and now you've excelled to become like the diving school of
Pattaya.
Because
the old man got into diving. He'd retired out here, and he had his nice fat pension, as they do there. And he was into videos and photography, and he liked going out, especially after getting over the hep. He couldn't really go drinking, so he was plunging into the diving. And we sort of like followed him there, and he said, look, you know, you guys are younger, you could make a career out of this, maybe get a business. And it sort of like led from there, mate,
Brilliant, fantastic. What a great story.
A bit of a roller coaster.
You're here now, I mean, looking back, do you have any regrets?
No, I don't. I've met people who I'd never met before. I've met guys from all over the world. I've gone through experiences. We call it the good, bad and the ugly, which you're always going to have in life, and totally enjoyed it, mate. Even sort of like when you're getting told off for being a bit late by the immigration for a day or two over, you smile at them, you pay the duty, and then they're the best friends again.
Yeah, and you've done overstay.
Just once or twice,
If you don't know what we're talking about, when you get your visa, you have to check in on a certain day, and if you don't, it's called overstay, and it's 500 baht a day.
That's right, mate. Yeah. He actually said to me, the officer was quite funny. He said, "You obviously enjoyed Thailand. You like the ladies?" I went, "Yes." He went, "The booze?" I went, "Yes." And he said, "Well, don't forget your overstay." I was like, "Sorry, officer." Pay up.
And there you go.
And he was a happy bunny then. Everything was done, mate.
So obviously you're here now, but like in terms of travelling, you mentioned you've travelled around. I mean, what's been some of the best places you've been to in Thailand?
Well, I would say I really enjoyed up in Buriram.
Wow, great
I had a
shout.
friend of mine, and we went up together. Actually, she was my brother's girlfriend. He was working, and she was going home, and I had a week off from work. And I said, "Look, I'm bored of like not actually bored, but I need to go and see something else." And I didn't really want to go down to the islands because you're working in the ocean all the time. So she took me up to Buriram. Basically met the people up there. Fantastic. Her father was very much involved in Muay Thai, so I went down to the camp, saw the guys training. They put me in the ring, which was an absolute disaster, mate. It was like Lauren Hardy. I was running, From there, came back. Her dad was quite high up in the little city at the time. Obviously, it's grown now. And he took us around to the nightclubs, and I noticed the respect this guy got. I didn't know whether he was mafia or the big police or whatever, but I was clinging on to this guy.
Don't leave me.
And they were fantastic. I was the only actually Western lad on the Farang in one nightclub, and they had this big spotlight on me. And then they thought I was an American DJ because I had my baseball cap like this, So I had to get up there and go, "Hey, it's Tawadi Cup Buriram," and zip, 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 and then that was it. They realised I wasn't a DJ.
So you mentioned then that you don't like, well, not to say you don't like, you don't go to the islands because it's like work from work, home from home. Does that really have that effect on you because you're in the ocean all the time?
Do you know what? Nowadays, before in my younger days, we were doing like 90 days on.
Wow.
So you're doing 90 days every day. You're out in the ocean, you're teaching, you're diving, and we worked for different companies. After we became freelance instructors, and we actually got a job working for a Russian company. It was a mate of my dad's, and we don't speak Russian, but we had translators. And they were doing what they call Discover Scuba Diving, like experiences, and we could do up to between 8 to 11 dives a day. It was exhausting work, but the money was really good. So we had a 9-month contract there where we did that. And when you got time off, you didn't really want to hit the beach or go in the ocean. So that's why you'd go up to like maybe Buriram or go up to Nong Khai, Nakhon Phanom, and have a look around different sort of areas.
So you like the rural north then?
Yeah, I do, And I just find that the people, I think most people where you go in Thailand, if you can speak a little bit of Thai, and even if you get it wrong, you have a bit of a joke. I did quite a bit of time where my father's wife came from, up in Phetchabun. And that was great. The people was really friendly there. I was actually having a pee one time, and they were trying to tell me there was a cobra near me. And I'm like, like this. And I thought it was some sort of Thai gesture. So I'm like this. And then I looked down, I'm like, oh my God, there is a cobra, So I backed off and left the cobra
So really, you
alone.
thought they were flattering you?
Yeah, I actually, I was like, hey, they've got the magnifying glass out.
Cheers, thanks very much. It's kind of you imagine they're going, ngoo, me ngoo, me ngoo.
And I didn't have a Scooby-Doo what they were saying there, mate. And I was just waving, trying to be this dumb Falang there.
So up in the north of time, and I live up there, so where's your favourite place? If I said to you right now, okay, Neil, right, listen, we're going to shut the door for 3 or 4 days. I want you to head up north. Where would you pick and why?
Do you know what? I'd maybe go to areas like, because I haven't really been there, it's like Udon Thani.
Okay, Udon
Khon Kaen, because I've got friends up there, and they always like they're saying, hey mate, come up here, check it out, and before all this COVID stuff happened, I was actually going to go up there for a week with a mate of mine. He's retired. He was working out in Afghanistan.
Right.
And he'd done his contract work. He's retired in Khon Kaen, build a house. And I was going to go up there, and then it all went ping. And obviously I had to cancel plans there. But I would like to go up to Udon, the Udon area, the Khon Kaen area, and just have a look around and see what it's about. I'm not a big biker, but I'd like to get a little scooter or something here and just follow the trails and see where you get to. Yeah,
I must admit, Udon and Khon Kaen, I mean, are really, really nice. I used to live up in Galasin, which is a bit sort of east of that area. But yeah, it is a really, really nice place and definitely one to visit. In terms of islands, obviously you've got extensive knowledge of all the islands. I guess you probably know more about under the island than you do about the top of the
definitely,
island.
Definitely, mate.
I mean, where would be a go-to island? Someone watching this now thinks, do you know what, I'm not into the scuba diving, but I want to go to an island.
I want to go to a nice island. The two, I think, nearest this area, which are really popular, is Koh Samet, which is really great because if you're on a limited time, say like you've only got a week or so, you could get down there for a day.
Yeah.
Check out the island, spend a night, then come back the next day. If you've got a little bit longer, to me, it's Koh Chang.
Okay.
I've spent quite a bit on and off that island and absolutely fantastic. I've got quite a few friends with dive centres down there. So again, before all the changes came in, I'd go down there, do a bit of diving, hang out with the guys there, and it's more of the beach sort of atmosphere down there where Pattaya, as we all know, is a different kettle of fish altogether. Down there in Koh Chang, it was just very, very laid back, very nice.
What about Koh Kud?
Koh Kud, I haven't been to Koh Kud. No, I haven't been to Koh Kud, mate. But it's on the hit list.
Oh, that has to be your next journey. You know, guys, if you're watching, you've been to Koh Kud, which is down by Koh Chang. They'll tell you it is absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful.
I think it's the beaches as well, of all the green, lush jungle and the beaches as you come there. I lived on Koh Samet. It was actually the first place we worked, was a place down called Al Prao, the big hotel.
Okay, yeah.
And we was the dive team down there, stroke rescue team. We was there, my brother spent about a year there. I was there for about 4.5 months. And we was like living in the jungle in these little hoochies. It was like a community of Thais and like divers there, and the old guys used to look after us, and you'd come back and it was a hosepipe shower, kept your strides on there for the ladies, and they'd have all the food out, and it was a great big TV, and it would just turn into a party every night there. Yeah,
fantastic. Well, get yourself down Koh Kud, mate. Honestly,
definitely, mate. The only thing is, I don't think I could live on an island. I'm used to a bit of concrete and cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's different, isn't it? Because like, obviously your world is like submerged. That's, you know, predominantly. I guess you probably might actually spend more hours underneath
the water there, mate. Definitely, yeah. I find though it's quite nice just to lounge around on the beaches there. I'm not a sun person, mate. I go red as a tomato, but to sit underneath there and have a cold beer, get a foot massage and just watch the world go round there.
So when you get a choice, when you're like, you know, you go to a hotel and there's a shower or there's a bath, do you get in the bath and submerge yourself just to feel like...
If I got my scuba unit with me, yeah.
Oh dear. I mean, you say about sunbathing and stuff like that. I mean, how do you relax away? Because, you know, all jokes aside, when you are under the water, and we're going to talk a lot more about this in part 2, there is zero room for error, so the concentration levels must be immense.
Yes.
In terms of relaxation, how do you relax?
We relax, normally sometimes it might be a few beers out here, we put a barbecue on, we go to a local little bar in Jomtien to support obviously the community, which is very important around here, especially nowadays. It might be a night in the town where you're not working the next day. It all really depends what your schedule is for the next day or two. If, for an example, we were doing deep diving, it's more watch a movie, have something to eat, relax, because you're doing a deeper job. If you've got a day or two off, you're more like hit Pattaya and let the steam off with the team, and it's very close with your guys there, because you're working there on the boats, you're underwater, and it's a bit like, in the sense, the military, because you've got the ranking systems. But once you get back here, everything goes out the window and it's party time.
Well, I guess you can't go to work with a hangover.
No, you can't. I have done it in my younger days, mate, and you've regretted it, I looked at one time, we had all these snorkelers, we went diving, and we'd had a few vodka oranges too many, and we're in the waves going up and down. I'm looking at my colleague Jay, and he's going green, I'm going orangey yellow, and we sort of got it out of our system without the customers having a look there, and you learn the lessons pretty quick, mate, is that the alcohol doesn't mix that well with the waves.
So 1991. Walking Street was a dirt track. The place was just a completely...
Very different.
Hugely different to what it is now. So you're going to go out tonight. Where's the one place you'd have to go to?
If I was going, normally I would like to go to... if I was starting, say, in the Barbiers...
Up to you. You're going to go to one place you've got to go to. Where would you go?
Soy 6.
Soy 6? Would you?
6, yeah. I do. Soy 6 was a lot of my youth I spent in the 6 and got to know a lot of the people down there.
Yeah.
And we even had a small bar down there for a certain amount of time. We thought, okay, when my brother, just as he got qualified, a guy said, look, I've got to go back home. Could you run my bar for 6 months?
Okay.
And Pete said, yeah. But the problem was, obviously being a bar owner, it's late nights. Diving, you're up early. And it was sort of like mixing this cross there. And we eventually said, we just can't do this, and gave the keys back.
Question I want to ask you, and you're a great person to ask this question. So 1991, I'm guessing Soy 6 wasn't even there, was it? It
was there, but there was only about maybe 6 bars there.
Okay, so I want to ask you this question, because this is a question we get asked so many times and we discuss it so many times. So guys, I think there's going to be a great answer here. Back in the day, I remember when I came here, and I was nowhere here as early as you were.
Okay.
I remember when Soy 6 was all closed bars.
Yes.
You used to walk down there would be the girls stood outside, and you'd go inside, and what would be would be.
Yes.
Now it's all virtually open bars.
Yeah.
Do you think that's improved Soy 6, or would you prefer it as it used to be?
I'm an old local, I can tell you, veteran now of Pattaya, survived nearly 22 years. I preferred the older style.
Yeah.
It was more discreet for various reasons there. I think also it's took a lot of business away from the bar beers, like in 7 and 8, which was open, which were good fun, or the Sabailand bar beers back in the days. And personally, I think the 6, if it was more closed, more personal and private, and more dark in there, you don't see my wrinkles and my bald head and stuff.
Well, you probably didn't have them back in the day.
No, actually I had hair then, so I didn't have to wear caps all the time there, But I was sort of out the wrinkles as well, But I think it was just a bit more fun.
Okay.
Yeah, bit more fun. That's just my personal.
No, I wanted to ask you because you remember Soy 6 when it was virtually established in itself.
Yeah.
I remember it when it was all closed.
Yeah.
Now it's all open, and it's a really hot topic. People saying, "Oh, Soy 6 has destroyed itself because now it's all open. It's not the same."
Yeah. I think a lot of it is new customers coming in. People who didn't see the original Soy 6 will enjoy the Soy 6 for what it is, and good luck to the guys down there. Hopefully they're all bounced back and we'll
brilliant. Well, listen, it's been fantastic, Neil. I've got one question for you.
Please do, mate.
Then we're going to wrap up, and in part 2 we're going to talk a lot more about the real divers here in Jomtien, because honestly it's fascinating, and I'm even going to get your toes wet, believe it or not. But before we finish up part 1, which has been brilliant listening to your stories, thank you so much. A lad's on the bus. He's going to the airport in England. He's going to get on the airplane. He's coming out now, and I meet him. And I say, now before you do anything, come with me. You're going to go and meet Neil.
Yep.
What would you tell him? What advice would you give him?
I would tell him, 1, don't think you're back at home, because it's different. Okay, it's going to be a different culture, different custom. You've got to accept that. 2, I would listen to guys who have been here for a long time. When I was a youngster out here, I listened to good lads, and they kept us straight. 3, if you do get in any confrontation, keep calm.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep your head.
Absolutely.
Like I say, don't get too mouthy, don't be silly. Try and work it out the best you can there, And smile.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
Great, mate.
Absolutely brilliant. This is Neil from Real Divers in just past Soy Welcome. I want to say just past, because when I first came here, I took the wrong turning. I thought it was Soy Welcome.
It's actually the end, or the butt end of Soy Welcome. You've got the main one, and we're in the back side of Soy Welcome there,
But I'll put a pin drop in the map anyway, and we'll find out. But in part 2, all jokes aside, what we are going to talk about is if you come down here and you want to do some diving, maybe it's new to you, maybe you've never been diving like myself, we're going to talk a lot more about what opportunities are available to you. And for those of you that enjoy diving and those of you that are more experienced, again, Neil's going to share with you some of the more comprehensive and the deep dives also available to you. So it really is worth watching. And as I say, I am going to get my feet wet. Check this out. All right, guys, that's it from us today. Thank you very much for watching. Please, as always, remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. Guys, check out our members area. More and more members now are joining each and every day, and more businesses are coming on board, giving you guys with your digital ID card more discounts. And I spoke with Neil earlier, and he's obviously going to do something as well for you guys. So if you are into diving and you remember, quid's in. And guys, join our Discord group. Get on there. There's lots and lots of it. There's over 3,900 people on there now that are all like-minded people just like you that love Pattaya and all it has to offer. And I'll get Neil to join, and then if you've got any diving questions, you can connect instantly with him, and he'll help you out and tell you what's what. All right, guys, that's it from us. Thank you very much for watching, and please, as always, stay safe.